I'm gonna be real. The depths are probably one of my favorite areas in the Dark Souls series. In my opinion, it has some of the best level design in the franchise, and its visual design captures one of the lowest spots in Lordran's hierarchy. This place is disgusting, and I love it. To better understand what this place is, the lore tells us that this is where the lowest of the low were locked away, never meant to see the light of day ever again. You have the key to this place now, so now you get to meet the friendliest citizens of the state of Arizona. These rat bastards are obnoxious, but the real threat are these torch hollows. These guys have a special kind of knockback that ignores poise, and their damage is percentage based, so no matter what health you have, these bastards will never not give you third-degree burns. But you see, this works perfectly with the themes of Dark Souls. The first flame was part of what gives the world meaning, light and dark, life and death. But it was not what defined the world. It was only a part of it. Flames cannot burn forever, but Gwyn disrupted the natural order and let the flame burn on. By doing this, he changed the laws of the world. Now, the flames define reality. It becomes almost parasitic, absorbing the energy and structure of reality. The world desperately needs it gone, but does not know what it means to live without it. A world defined by consumption can never know true creation. Everyone has been homogenized, stripped of identity. You are now reduced to only be fuel for the flames. So yeah, this enemy sucks. After we clear out the tweakers, we get to see the great cuisine this place has to offer. These butchers are scary, and apparently the sack they wear is exclusively worn by women. What they are cutting could be an assortment of human meat and rats! This ember is important for leveling weapons, and that's about it, so not much to talk about. After fighting this last butcher, we get its sack, and we get to go into this interior to meet the greatest of all barrel boys, Laurentius.
You. Yes, you. Here, over here. Please, you must help me.
Laurentius is probably one of, if not my favorite character in Dark Souls 1. I will talk about him a little later in the video, but for now, all we need to know is that we saved him from getting eaten. Taking this plunge feels like the real star of the level. The depth's floors and walls are covered in human remains. It looks like this giant rat has been using the remains as its main source of food, because after you kill this massive beauty, it drops a humanity. Sadly, this is the last time we get to see this world wonder, but he lives on in our hearts. We get this key, and this waterfall functions as a slide. If you ride against the left wall, you actually can find a secret that lets you skip the drop. This disgusting mound of flesh was human once, but now has become the simplest form of life. Much like the depths as a whole, this lard is gluttony incarnate. If we go up, we get to use this key, and I have to admit something. I was lying earlier in this series when I said the Undead Burg had my favorite bonfire. This right here is my favorite bonfire. It's so secluded, but at the same time, if you hang around here, you're going to see a lot of other players' phantoms. This is a very popular spot because rats drop humanity, so this is the go-to farming spot in early and mid-game. It's amusing to me that rats have more humanity than people, but in a place like this, everything is in a cycle of consumption. This is my favorite spot to invade, and it's pretty active, so the wait times aren't too bad, too. If we take this slide down into the hole, which is probably what most players do on their first playthrough, we are thrown into one of the lowest points of the level. This is probably where a lot of players will experience their first NPC invasion. These exist to create narratives and also provide an invasion experience for offline players. NPC invasions are not too challenging, so this will be a breeze. The creepy crawlies hanging out at the bottom of the depths are called basilisks, and they inflict curse if you aren't careful. I wasn't careful. I mean, this is okay. I may not have originally intended for this, but it makes for a good discussion. Getting cursed gives the player one of the only text prompts that give a direct hint of how and where to solve their problem. And you are gonna want to solve that problem because curse takes half your health bar away. This video is no longer about the depths exclusively. We need a cure. Escaping the depths with such little health is its own challenge. I die a few times, but eventually I can see the sun again. Speaking to the plug, I find out that I do not have the souls for the purging stone. I also forgot that the creepy preacher in the parish sells them for 4,000. Curse only has one benefit, and that is that it lets you kill ghosts. So I'm gonna go to the one place with ghosts in it. Before we go there, I want to revisit our barrel boy from the depths.
Well, I see you made it out. Yeah, I made it out safely too. I have my pyromancy of the Great Swamp, so...
Laurentius is one of the friendliest characters you meet, and his background helps explain this. Pyromancy is one of the most fascinating aspects of Dark Souls, and I am not talking about its gameplay mechanics. Pyromancy is learned through bonds. It is not just a matter of a teacher and a student, but also has to be physically given to another person.
A flame from the Great Swamp. Now you're a fully fledged pyromancer. Well, let's get started right now.
There is an intimacy to pyromancy that isn't found in any other magic system. The fact that an intimate act is so ostracized in a world so deprived of human interaction makes sense. Despite being a world where fire rules over people, the pyromancers have not only found a way to be their own masters, but have also rekindled the bonds people hold with one another. Laurentius' most famous line of dialogue carries with it the thesis of the entire Dark Souls trilogy.
Be safe, friend. Don't you dare go alone.
Alright, enough human connection, time to Ghostbust. This video has gone completely off the rails, but I'm okay with that. This derailment actually highlights one of my favorite aspects of Dark Souls storytelling. Any player who has been cursed has their own story to tell. Where it happened and how they went about solving it is bound to be different in some way from one person to another. This, to me, really speaks to the strengths this game has as a role-playing game and how the player forges their own narratives. Maybe this is all nonsense, but the way this game gets me invested in my own characters has never really been achieved the same way in any other game I've played. Now let's talk a little bit about New Londo. Now I know this area gets a lot of hate, but you have to admit it has an amazing atmosphere. This opening area is one of the few places you can find hollows that won't actually bother attacking you. This is yet another way this game reminds you that hollows are people. They are all stuck dwelling in their own grief and mania. At least this one is pretty chill though. This place is creepy, and I'm not going to talk about the whole area. That will have to wait till another video. For now, all we need to know is that this place was flooded purposely, and all that remains with the ruins are the ghosts of the people killed. These ghosts can't be damaged unless you have an item that gives you a curse effect without the health debuff, or have curse itself. This is really the only positive of curse, but I guess it makes the grind a little less tedious since killing these ghosts actually gives you a decent amount of souls. We can also grab another Firekeeper's soul if we cross this bridge. I actually really like this. Sure, it's a bit scummy with these ghosts that show up, but I always liked the way the environments also feel as dangerous as the enemies that inhabit them, and I feel like no other Souls game was really ever able to achieve this again, at least not to the same extent. We are done with London for now, but we will be back for these Brits later. At last, our curse is gone, and we can finally return to the sewers where we belong. I get to rematch Kirk and kill him with no problem. We also get a peek at how this game shows how far gone mentally me and my character are. I think this crystallized player model might have even been mine, which is both funny and a little creepy to think about. This lower part of the depths is not really a place you want to be in with all these basilisks, but many players will probably end up here because there are many holes in the depths that will send you here. I love this. It makes the depths feel like such a layered area. It has so many distinct sections despite all of them sharing the same aesthetic. This creepy vibe to the depths has really been played up in these videos by this YouTube channel, King Boar Haha. Check him out if you haven't already. I will put links in the description to his videos. Before we tackle the area boss, there is one last character we can interact with, Dommel.
Aye, Shemai, and good day to you. I'm Donald of Xena. I'm just a peddler of sorts. I adore trinkets and oddities, so I trade for them.
Dommel is yet another great character. I sound like a broken record, but trust me, he's really good. His greeting, Shemai, is actually a Welsh greeting. This distinct vocabulary that some Dark Souls characters have really adds to their personalities. It makes whatever background they have feel all the more real. Some may say Dommel's placement in the depths might show his gluttony, but I've always seen him as just a friendly salesman, not some greedy business type, I think he's just cool. He just seems like he's trying to make the best with what he's got, and you know what? More power to him. You just gotta respect the hustle. Now we can finally do the area boss. This is the Gaping Dragon. It's another one of the rare encounters with a dragon, or at least a descendant of the everlasting dragons. And how the mighty have fallen. This monster's design embodies the glut of the depths. The actual fight leaves a lot to be desired, sadly. Its attacks are rather clunky, and its movement is not really all that threatening to me. I do like this one attack it has, where it just pukes out a ton of what's eaten, and it's so acidic that it will actually damage the durability of your armor and weapons, which if they break, will make this fight practically impossible, because of the piss poor damage. Once the Gaping Dragon is dead, we get a big old key, but where it leads we'll have to wait. The next video we will be backtracking a little bit, and we will be returning to the surface to explore some other areas. Have a good day.